Jesse and Bob are two dudes on the job to brighten your day while gabbing away on a pod. Forget your frown, let's see what's going down in Beachtown.
Holy Moses, sweet mother of pearl, heavens to Murgatroyd, it's a one-trick pony beating a dead horse, hogging the covers, staining the sheets, pissing blood and bleeding piss. The irresistible force meets the immovable object. We got an ass every 18 inches. They're hanging from the rafters. You can cut the electricity with a knife. Welcome back to episode 5 of the Beachtown Comedy Podcast. Yeah, we are Jesse Egan and Bob. I am one of those guys. Jesse, look at you, man. Nice background. Turning more heads than a tennis match. What's going on, man?
Thank you. I'm surfing Safari. It's a filter that the Zoom thing had, so I thought, cool, let's do it. Good to be here, though, Bob. Nice to see you. Happy grapes to you.
Happy grapes it is.
I'm excited. We had a good show last night together at the Comedy Store.
That's right. We were at the Comedy Store at 916 Pearl Street. Call 858-454-9176 reservations. Do not park at Vaughn's. It was nice to have to be back at the Best of San Diego. I was happy. I was thrilled. It was so homecoming-ish for me. It's the first of the month. Pay rent. Who cares? But it's the first Best of back since the pandemic, and I call it that. I'll explain again later. It's been a while. Because what was I saying? We're talking about Best of San Diego.
It was the first time back to Best of San Diego.
What
it was amazing. It was great.
Where are we?
Comics again.
Who are you?
Basically sold out.
Yes, the show was sold out, packed, and we had an ass every 18 inches, as they like to say in old wrestler world, which doesn't apply to anything. But
Does that change with the pandemic, where it's a little bit long?
It's like 20. Distance? It's like 23 inches. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It does.
But it felt great to be back after so long. So yeah, that was terrific, and we got to see all these comic friends that we know. And
I got to see old faces. I got to see new faces. I got to see relatively familiar faces. I got to see old acquaintances, which is all right too. You know what I mean? You get to see a little bit of everything. And then you get to see some faces that you just guess because they still have a mask on. So you just take a wild, you just throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. And hopefully I know that person. Now, that was tremendous. I was so happy to finally be back. This actually leads into my first my first G for
Oh, you
grapes.
Ready? Are we graping it?
Do you have anything else first?
Let's squeeze some grapes.
We ain't doctors. We ain't saviors. Now enjoy the fruits of your labor. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me that sweet grape juice.
Let's do the first G, gentle with oneself. I knew that one. Yeah, I would say, I don't know if this counts or not, but I would say that, yes, for our first G in grapes, that was my first best feeling since being back of like, oh, I am part of this scene again. Bob belongs. I think that's the message that I'm slowly trying to get. Bob belongs. There's a place for Bob. I have that little problem I have that problem talking in third person, but aside from that, that's something we can work on. But
you posted something about that, and I wrote, "Yeah, Bobby's back, baby," or alt version, "Bobby's got back."
Yes,
I like as
and
well.
I don't. My glutes are very weak. I'm doing my DDP yoga. My Diamond Dallas Page, he's an old wrestler yoga, and he says that it's not important right now, but be that as it may. But if like this called Bob back, Bob happens. Bob is happening on this night. That's what I like to say, because I think of myself as more of an idea than a human being at this stage of the game. And I just like Bob's an event. Bob's a thing that happens. I'm more of a vessel for that event that occurs within the three-dimensional normalities of everyone else's psyche and parameters that they set for themselves and those physical limitations. So that's how I see Bob. And
this is a mental health podcast, by the way, guys.
Who are you?
Sorry,
again?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Bob belongs was the message I got for the G for grapes.
I also forgot to give our normal disclaimer at the top of the show. This is a mental health podcast designed to cheer you up. If it doesn't help you in either way, the disclaimer is here for that, which is to say that we're not professionals. We don't know anything about anything except for maybe a little bit about GI Joes and stuff like that. So
Right.
other than that, we're not experts on anything. So if you have real issues, of course, go see someone professional. But in any case, please continue, Bob, about the social construct of imaginary worlds.
Right. Well, I should add that whatever. The disclaimer is in the lyrics of the jingle right before this segment. Just so you know.
Good.
Any event that we forget. That's not an accident. That's not an accident, by the way.
No, that's good.
I did that for a reason.
Yeah, we're not
okay.
doctors.
That's me. We'll give that away. Yes. Well, that one's me. The other that's Jesse singing. Yeah. So the idea of Bob has a place, and I could be that vessel to vibrate to those fifth dimensional frequencies within your own parameters. What about you for gentle? Oneself. How are you doing?
That's a great segue. I do. One thing I want to say, I remember last night specifically when you told the audience that you tattooed your name on your body.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to George, and he's like, "Nah, you didn't." And then you go and show. You know, if you want to show him on the podcast.
I don't want to rip my shirt, so I'm just full flexing. Am I bruised yet too? There you go.
So he does this. He does this on stage and shows it.
Yeah.
And George, I mean, he had
I hadn't seen him in 10 years. Yeah,
I know, and he was laughing so hard, but he had a very similar reaction to when my mom saw it, which was like, he just turned to me like, he's a crazy person, huh?
Yeah.
But man, we were laughing so hard watching your set, and what a great time. I guess so yeah, for my G, I always struggle with this one, like, because there's different ways of doing this, but I always try to say what's an overall compliment I could give to myself. So I'm going to say I will ask for directions. A lot of men will not ask for directions when they'll get lost. But I will, even if I know how to get there, I pull over and I ask people, how the hell?
Yeah.
Where do I go? And so I just figured that would be one to say that I'm, willing to ask for directions. When I don't know where I'm going, I don't just drive around like an idiot. But for the most part, I've got, I got GPS. Yeah, but if I didn't have GPS, I would ask.
My favorite part of that is actually when you come to a place you've been before, like my apartment, and you just pull over on the 8. Yeah. And you go, hey, you know where Bob's place is?
How do I get to Bob's?
You don't?
And you're already in the car, which also makes it weird.
Just yeah, but, right. And then you go to and then the guy says no, and you tell the guy, well, I do, and we speed off.
Right. Yeah, right. Do you work at Rubio's? What was that? I work at Rubio's. How about you?
Yeah. She says, I work at Rubio's. What about you? I said, no, I don't work there. People ask dumb questions.
Butchered your joke. You got to.
That's perfect.
You got to edit out my butchering.
No, I'm leaving that in forever.
That's our G. I guess that's a decent G.
That's a very good G.
What about the R?
What about the R?
My R was easy. Anna reminded me, hey, you got more rest than you needed. I was down for a couple of days. I got a thing called diverticulitis.
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. Relaxation is the R. If you're
R is relaxation. Right.
The divertic. Yes. What's going on?
Or diverticulitis. That's the other R. And it's an old man thing that old men get. No, it's something my grandfather had it. It's also something I have, which is an inflammation of your intestines, and it really hurts. So when it goes bad, I am down. So I spent a couple days in bed resting, and I got more rest than I needed, but it feels a lot better today. So that's a good thing. Shout out to my buddy Sal Viesca, who just went through surgery for this. So it can get even worse.
Fucking Sal. Yeah.
Got a piece of you out. Yeah. That's not.
Yeah. Sometimes Sal and I converse on Twitter. It's a popular social media application with 280 characters, and you could interact with celebrities. And sometimes Sgt Slaughter retweets you. So that's nice.
That's amazing.
That's the best part of Twitter, honestly. Sgt Slaughter is a funny guy. Like I was commenting on the Full House reboot, Fuller House, which was on Netflix, which is a popular movie and original programming streaming application you can download as well or sign up for. And somebody had said, I think Sgt Slaughter would have been great on Fuller House. And Sgt Slaughter replied, and he goes, it should have been Fuller, instead of Fuller House, it should have been Slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That
that
would
would
be
have
a
been
better
horrible. Then he like kills those children.
Well, no, he would just go yell at them, and then they, actually they were the most perfectly well behaved kids anyway. There really wouldn't be much for Slaughter to do. He
Yeah.
would just kick the door down and go, "At ease, maggots," and they'd be like, "Do you want cookies?" Oh, okay. Well, I guess this. Never mind. As you were. And then he just goes down, and then Bob Saget cleans up after him, and then Jesse Egan says, "Have mercy," and then the kids get into a good college because of Aunt Becky, and then everybody wins.
That may be the only show that Sergeant Slaughter would not improve really that much,
Yeah, no,
every other program I think would be improved by an appearance.
He would have nothing to do, but
he
probably
would have nothing to do. Yeah,
he would yell at Dave Coulier, though. I think
that's worth it then.
Okay, I'll take it.
He played a stand-up comedian on that show, didn't he, Dave Coulier?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
So what about your R? Did you rest?
I'm getting pretty good at getting in my 8 hours now. Which is good. I wish that the 8 hours started and ended earlier than they are. But when I am waking up, I'm getting productive. And this relates to accomplishments too. But yeah, I've had some job interviews, which make me get up, and those are always the better days overall. It's like, oh, I had to start the actual day now, which is good. And I still get up and I'm applying and everything else. But no, I'm kicking back. I'm getting in at least the correct the bodily amount, the 7 to 8 hours. So if it could just be, if now we can just start shifting it, because I got over the 4 hours here, do half a day of whatever, then 4 hours and 3. You know what I mean? I got rid of that, which is good because that's poison. Like, you never get any actual good sleep that way anyway. So I got a good chunk. Now we just have to start moving the chunk.
Yes.
And then chunk, and the thing when you relax is that chunk loves sloth, and you don't want to be lazy.
This all sounds like a preview to my exercise part, where you got to move the chunk, and that's my biggest problem. Move that chunk.
You must move the chunk.
Get that chunk moving. Well, that's good. So you get the amount of rest just in the wrong time, and now the goal is to move that chunk.
That's correct.
Okay, I think that's a good goal.
It's a goal. We got to have goals.
Any accomplishments this week that are notable that we can talk about?
Yeah.
I think you might have something good.
I put gas in a car right before this.
Well done.
Thank you. No, I went to the. I was telling you, we drove to the Comedy Store La Jolla, 916 Pearl Street, together. Don't park at Vaughn's, and we went there, and I was telling you, I went to the hand car wash to clean the outside of my motor vehicle, my automotive vehicle, and I didn't know if I was too poor or too out of shape to correctly clean my car, but it didn't work. I just went to the hand car wash to make my car look worse than it was, because then it just had dried soap on. I didn't even get the soap off. It's one thing when you barely get the soap off and then you kind of rinse it off, because after the super rinse, then you want the light rinse. I didn't even get anywhere near that. And I'm fighting, I'm sweating, I'm a fairly in good shape guy, and I'm giving it everything, and I can't get the goddamn thing done. So I'm too poor or too slow to wash my car. Because I only had put in $5 worth, and it just wasn't enough. And of course, the guy before me takes 3.5 days. He's got a bucket. I don't know where he gets a bucket from. What the fuck are they giving you buckets?
BYOB.
He just decided just to park out there and camp, and I'm in the wrong lane because the other 2 lanes, everyone's just kind of doing their thing and driving away with their half-soaked cars, I guess. I don't know what. So it looks like crap, but I just cleaned the windshield when I put fuel, 87 unleaded fuel in my automotive vehicle to go forward and what have you.
I think that's a great accomplishment. I mean, I remember you talking about the downfall of those hand washing. What you were saying yesterday.
I don't remember.
What
was I yelling about in the car? Like,
I can't have some other dude rubbing on my car.
Yeah, like I could do like a car wash, but I could sit there in neutral and go through that thing that looks like the French fries. And just like the thing that slaps you in the face there. But I couldn't do it like have a bunch of guys just like wiping like I just feel like some sort of weird royalty, like I'm people are waiting on me even though I'm paying for it, like I'm being waited on. And then it's just I mean there's no, people don't have scantily clad car washes of either of your major genders anymore. Did I say that correctly? I don't want to offend both our listeners, but yeah, I can't I just can't deal with all the the abs and whatever, which is
Too
no
sexy. Too
Yeah,
sexy.
it's just too sexy for me to
Yeah.
do, and I don't want to feel sexy in my Venza.
Sexy in my Venza. That's the new CD. That's the new
That's the
album.
one.
The new comedy album. Sexy in my Venza.
I got to start an 18th podcast now. What's
I
I accomplished car things. What about you, Jess? What's your
Anna
accomplishment?
reminded me this week I got to say one line in like a little movie shoot. They were filming this movie called The Extras, and I had a friend say, hey, do you want to do one line in it? And I think it's like a local production, so I went to this place, and it's like this house that was rented out, and there's all these really fancily dressed up people that are actors. I felt really out of place,
Yeah.
I wasn't really dressed up. I just was doing me. I had one line, and the line was, my name is Julian. That's my line. Basically, I play like an extra, and the casting director, it's like a movie within a movie kind of thing.
Okay.
So it was like there's like a director or a casting director or something who's like telling the extras to go over here. We go over here, and she's addressing me. I walk up, and she goes, "Oh, looking good there, Steven." And I go, "My name is Julian," and I walk away in a huff, And and then they did that like 4 takes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And luckily I had there was an actor behind me, like a real actor, who was like, do it, try the, he's telling me how to act and how to do the thing, like, hand me your champagne glass in a huff. Like, I was just like, my name is Julian, and and this was my, these pretzels are making me thirsty moment, from Seinfeld, where these pretzels are making me thirsty. And that's your only line, and then screw up the whole production. But it was so funny that after I did this one line, the director on set was like, all right, everybody, give it up for Jesse. That's a wrap on him for his life, or whatever it is.
His life.
So
why don't you applaud his career?
They were so nice. They're so much friendlier than I expected. All these actors were so friendly and kind, and I'm used to sort of like introverted, like stand-up comics being like, I gotta work on my set, whatever. But these guys were like, how you doing? What are you here for? And I'm like, I'm just like some jackass. I'm saying one line, and the person's like, oh, you have a line? That's amazing. We're extras. We stand around for hours and don't get paid. And I was like, wow, cool. I got a line. My name is Julian.
My name is Julian. I really wish it was Julius, because you know what I want you to say. I'm your brother Julius.
I am your brother Julius.
We are twins. Yakety yak. Don't talk back.
Don't talk back.
Now, see, if you were experienced like that one guy giving you advice, you could take creative liberties and change it.
Yeah, I would have. I would have hacked a line from another movie and put it into this movie. And hopefully none of the young people would have realized it.
Not even close.
They would have been like, oh, that was funny.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And then they get sued, or basically my part gets cut.
Yeah, totally.
I have to assume my part's going to get cut anyway, because it's the only appearance I have in there. Is like, I don't know where, just walking up like, my name is Julian. It's like, well, who the hell are you?
That is hilarious. So you're gonna be in a major motion picture then?
Well, I don't know. This is a camcorder, so I'm not sure if that's no.
Is this part of the?
I don't think I don't know if it's a major. I don't know how big it is. I feel it felt like it was a local written by a local guy, and
Oh, okay. Does it star Scarlett Bob Hansen?
Yeah,
that's my favorite actress.
I loved how you brought up the comic last night. You introduced James Schrader.
Yes.
The same way you did with Bajan the other day, but it was from MTV2's Trying to Smash.
The host of MTV2's Trying to Smash, yes. And I congratulated him later, yeah.
Is James just looked so confused and then started laughing, and it was great.
Well, I asked him, and I'll just, because we know him as the Dr. Squatch ball soap guy. And I wanted to ask him, I didn't want to just, because I don't know him too well. So I don't think
the soap is just for your balls, by the way. I think.
Well, that's how they sell it. That's how they advertise it, in my defense. Okay.
Okay. I mean, it's for men. I don't know that they're like, just scrub just your balls.
Yeah, if this thing touches,
save this soap for your ball. You can wash the rest of you with it. Whatever.
If this shit touches your arm, you're dead.
It disintegrates. It actually turns into balls.
What was the original point? But no,
You
I
sell
didn't want to
sunglasses too, but I don't think they're for your balls. But maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, if you want, it depends on what kind of tan you want. Now, I went up to him in the
He
lobby.
also used to advertise for Soapy Joe's. So that's
Who?
the connection there is you could have had him at your car wash, extra sexy, sudsing up your balls.
Well, I'll DM him. I'll ask him if he wants to do that for me.
Please.
But here's the thing. I didn't want to. Okay, so a little behind the curtain. Sometimes when comedians when a host or any comedian brings up another comedian, it's a courtesy, and no one does it anymore because no one knows how to fuck do comedy. It is that you go up to the comedian and you be like, hey, is there anything you want me to say? Meaning credits. And on the other end, to be polite, you don't tell them 14 things. Netflix and Conan and Colbert and jacking off some asshole.
I got a podcast about true crimes.
Yeah, go fuck you. Right, go fuck yourself. Exactly. So, but or in that case, we're us, and his commercial was on like a Super Bowl or something, a Super Bowl because there's a million of them. So it's courtesy to be like, hey, do you want me to say anything? And he may or may not just say the Dr. Squatch thing. But in this, he just said, no, whatever. Nothing. Okay. I was like, okay, cool.
Hey, you're like,
just
nope.
asking. Well, no, I know.
Fly.
Yeah, because I was either going to say Trying to Smash or Dr. Squatch and Trying to Smash. I was saying one of those two intros in my head. I know this already. But of course I did that, and I congratulated him on his MTV2 hosting show.
You congratulate him on the fake credit that you gave him.
Yes, I did. And he said thank you.
He said thank you.
Because it's courtesy. It's just courtesy. None of this is real. Nothing's real.
Yeah.
Where are we? Did we do accomplishments?
I think we were at accomplishments.
Oh, physically, where am I? I'm in Kearney Mesa.
Yep.
I think we did our accomplishments.
Let's talk about pee.
I'm not mature enough.
Let's talk about urine. Are you getting enough urine? No. P stands for pleasure, doing something purely for fun that you enjoy, which is a big part of mental health. And I think we had a good week in that. At least I did. I had a couple shows. I had the show in OB at the holding company, the THC, and the place was packed. I got to see all these people from OB that I hadn't seen in forever. Sandy came out.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen her in forever. And I opened the show. It was a little tough. The mic was going out. They had a wireless mic, which I do not recommend for anyone running the show.
I don't like them either.
The wireless mics tend to go in and out, and B, the batteries die. And if you remember, Bob, one of the biggest shows we ever did, we were opening for Craig Gass at 4th and B years and years ago.
Rest in peace.
And he's still alive. And he had a wireless mic, and I had a wireless mic. I was the host, and he was out there for so long, his wireless mic died. And I remember running out or walking out, giving him my microphone, and him taking it and saying, "Jesse Egan, everybody," and like 700 people in there cheered for me, which was amazing. And then he goes, "Great tits, huh?" And
I feel bad.
Immediately brought me right back down to earth. But anyway, I hate wireless mics. They go in and out. So this is no different. Where I'm doing a setup, the freaking word goes out. I got to realize it, repeat it. The rhythm is thrown off, and then try to do the punchline. So there was that. I went on dead first. They had two hosts go up there. Neither one of them did any time at all. They just brought me right up to a crowd that's talking. And I walked up there and I go, "Hey, thanks for warming them up for me, fellas." And but it was such a great experience overall. I got to see some great comics. Jesse Johnson was hilarious, and Jenny Zagrino was hilarious, and Brian Simpson. And I mean, I love him so much. So,
and Zoltan didn't bother going. Yeah,
Zoltan canceled, but otherwise we had a terrific show, and it was just great to be able to just walk down, the alley and go right into THC and do a show and walk back. And because I figured if I bomb, I could just slink out of here. But
because that's like walking distance to your place of residence. Yeah.
So that was terrific. I was the biggest sort of that, and our show last night at the store and hanging out with everybody. That was sort of two great sort of back-to-back comedy experiences. And I also went to the zoo twice this week.
Went to the zoo?
I went to the zoo, which really is, I was going to save it for my exercise, but I did. I went to the zoo twice, and
Okay.
it was so much fun.
What?
So, but I don't want to dominate the pee.
No.
It's your turn to take a pee.
And I can't wait to take the piss out of this conversation. You know what Craig Gass could have done to avoid that dead battery wireless mic problem?
Tell me.
And not 3 hours.
Yeah, that's true. He did wait too much time.
Like, fuck. That wouldn't have happened, would it? Like, okay, I know what Kinnison sounds like. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, you remember that show.
I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man. No one's gonna touch me. I fought the Moondogs. Tell my co-star Anne Hathaway you got a problem with me. Castaway on Netflix, the animated series. Look it up. For pleasure, you know what I'm gonna do? I think after this, I'm gonna go to Buffalo Wing Star. It's a block down the road. It's like a cheap wings place that isn't very good, but Subway is next to it, so it looks better in comparison. And I'm gonna get the charbroiled chicken sandwich. I say sandwich instead of sandwich. I'm allowed to do that. Champion's prerogative because I beat the Moondogs.
Yes.
And I bought ketchup. I went to Target after I got gasoline for the automotive vehicle, and I got ketchup. It's like tomato, but like salt. You don't understand.
I think we're fairly aware of that product.
Okay, and I'm gonna put because people don't give you ketchup anymore.
No,
because I made it. I had a little habit of going to KFC and Wendy's too much, like in early June, and you got to ask for ketchup. They'll give you no ketchup now because they're just cutting corners left and right.
What do they give you when you ask for ketchup instead of ketchup?
They give you ketchup, but you have to ask.
Okay.
Because I came back a few times with no ketchup, and then I asked the one lady at Wendy's, and she did it. But like KFC, by the way, is laid back as all fuck. They'll give you a basic. I'm like, hey, instead of coleslaw, can I just get a biscuit? Like, dude,
they don't care.
They don't even care, dude. They're like, yeah, what do you want, dude? And then the dude's like, hey, man, you also want some of these honey butter things for your biscuit? I'm like, yeah, you're the man. Like, oh, you're the man. I'm like, I think I'm friends with KFC. Like, but I'm going to enjoy the sandwich. Because we had a great big pack show last night, and tomorrow we got 2 shows up in Escondido.
Yeah.
So tonight I'm just gonna lay low. There's really nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. I just want to be sedated. Wait, those are song lyrics. And get my chicken sandwich. And I'll probably watch another film for this program. I don't know what I'll watch. What
was the I don't want to give it up, but we're gonna have a great coming up. We're having a great movie review, so I'm excited to hear about this one because I haven't seen this in forever.
Oh yeah, that's my pleasure.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good pee. I mean, so you're planning on pee. You didn't actually experience any pleasure this whole week since our last podcast, but you are looking forward to a chicken sandwich later.
Yes, I am.
Didn't you have fun when we went to 7-Eleven last night and got?
I had a tremendous. Oh, I just had 2 chickens. Those don't count. That's not real chicken.
No, it was.
This isn't Buffalo Wing Star chicken. That's just shitty chicken because we needed chicken. Yeah. I eat a lot of chickens.
Well, I hope you enjoy that. I know how you feel about chickens. I love that bit last night. How you were talking about how they came from dinosaurs.
Yeah. We got to kill them off while we still can. We're not free. You're never really free, and it's never really over. Just when you think life is like a horror movie where the killer wakes up at the end. Life is like Jason opening one eyeball and then the credits roll, just to remind you there's going to be a sequel. That's how I see it. Life is Jason 6. When how did 6? They dug him up at the beginning of 6. I think they put him in the lake at the end of 6, and in 7 he wakes up out of the lake. At the end of 7 they put him back in the lake, and in the beginning of 8 somehow he moves from a lake in Jersey to Manhattan, and no one understands how he got on this boat because lakes and oceans and rivers don't connect. But the geography of Friday the 13th is definitely the biggest inconsistency with the storyline.
And the fact that he won't die, but he's very persistent. I mean, that's good.
He won't give up. You may look at it, he won't die.
Yeah,
I say he won't.
He's got a lot of get up and go. I mean,
to kill people.
If anybody, take a lesson from Jason, that just keep hacking away.
I was just gonna say hacking away. Son of a bitch.
All right.
Those are good stories, though. It's like a slice of life story. Okay.
I always put you on the spot for E. It's not fair. I will say that I'll give you mine first. My exercise for E this week. I did actually go swimming at the YMCA.
Oh.
I got my membership back. Went Anna and I went. We swam the laps. This is how I swim, so I didn't do very well. And I just kind of go back and forth. But I got to tell you, when I swim, I have like an inner ear thing. So if I go underwater, water will get in there, and then I'll be deaf. My whole head fills up with fish and stuff. So I have to wear water, like these waterproof ear plugs, and then I wear goggles.
That's hilarious.
But then I am loving it. I remember,
Yeah.
honestly, I hadn't really swam in years until Anna got me these waterproof earplugs, because the last time I got water in there, I was deaf for a month. I had to go to the doctor.
Jesus Christ.
It was like a real thing. I mean, I couldn't hear anything out of this ear. So I avoid, getting water in it when I shower, the whole thing. I got a whole.
So you have to go swimming like an amateur wrestler, basically.
Exactly.
I just put on a thing.
I put on a whole. In fact, I dress up like a luchador when I go in there. Nacho Libre. I actually wear a little cape too.
Right, which is how you got kicked out of the YMCA the first time.
Yeah, but they, I got a different mask now. They don't recognize me. So
yeah, it's fun to see.
But I loved it. We swam the laps. I love swimming. It's like flying underwater. I just love it. A lot of people are swimming, the crawl, and they look exhausted. I'm like swimming underneath, and I'm still like a little kid at heart. And so when I swim, I have the most fun. But I did that, and I went to the zoo twice, walked around the zoo and saw all the animals, and got to see elephants bathing. And
how did you end up at the zoo twice? Like you left and came
we
back?
took both of Anna's nephews. We took little Will. So Will's the baby, and he just has a new baby sister. So the mom needs a break. She's like overwhelmed. So we took Will to the zoo and walked all around, and that was really fun. And then the other day we took Christopher, who's her other nephew, and that was actually, I have to admit, that one doesn't count as exercise, because we did the laziest zoo trip that day. We got on a bus, and it took us all around the zoo, and then we
did the bus,
a sky lift, which I'm afraid of heights, so I'm like
I'd be terrified.
And if you ever take that sky cam thing and you're afraid of heights, don't sit backwards. It's worse. Like if you don't know where you're going, and you're just like, it's so high up. But like seeing where you're going is somehow a little bit better. But it was funny because we went on the sky cam once with little Will, the baby, and he was like, he calls Anna Nano. He's like, Nano was brave, Will was brave, Jesse was not so brave. And I'm like, don't tell them. Tell your parents so. Yeah.
Kid, here's $20. Why don't you just keep this
$20? Jesse was brave.
Then I'll have to explain what $20 means.
Yeah. So that was my really.
That would be a funny bit, that you're terrified of heights, but you get in a sky list because you're more terrified of like exercise. Like that would be a funny bit.
That's true.
I don't want to die in this thing. Well, geez, I don't want to walk either.
yeah, exactly.
It's warm out.
Yeah, I was trying to do the bit last night, and I forgot to do it, but I was going to talk about how much I hate hiking, and I was going to say, like, hiking combines my two biggest fears: heights, not sitting.
Yeah.
I didn't get to it, but I'll do it next week. But
tell me about your
Tell me about your ecstasy.
Ecstasy, it's going really well. I'm always thirsty and banging weird chicks. Now, anyway, I'm sweaty in this reflection. Jesus, it's hot in here. That's from the E.
It's all the E, all the Molly.
That's all the Molly. Jeez, I finally figured out E is called Molly until the kids don't find out. I thought they probably call it something else. I don't know. My exercise is going well. I'm sweating up a storm in my my living room here, but I think what's the real killer is the diet, because you can't out-train. That's the old saying, and it's true. You can't out-train a bad diet. And in your 20s and early 30s, actually, you kind of can, by the way, until you hit a point where you're mid-30s, you creep on, and you just can't. You can for a little bit, but you can't.
I can't. So, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I can't either, because my knees are my knees need the weight taken off. I still got the belly that's that with the show, what's helping me, I'll just tell you, it goes faster, is that with shows on a calendar now, I got tomorrow where the Grand Comedy Club in Escondido, the Saturday after, I got a thing in Vista, and we got the Best of San Diego's are back, and I got the Madhouse, a little weekend coming up in a few weeks. So that's awesome. Yeah. It's more of a reason to be like, I'm not buying the Breyers mint chocolate chip ice cream, even if it is on sale at Vons for $4.99, which is absolutely refreshing. I'm laying off that, and
So you would buy more ice cream when you don't have shows?
I did. Oh, that's where all the KFC and Wendy's was coming into play. Like as of like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, well, who cares? But
Why? Because people aren't seeing your body?
Right. Right, because we filmed these from the nipple up for fucking, but so yeah, I was like, no, I'll have my Wendy's, my chicken, no burgers, only chicken, and I'll get my chicken sandwich and my frosty, and but now I'm just kind of like, don't do that. The the
you could just change your workout plan to just a nipple up plan.
Well, that's the problem. It is a nipple up plan.
Upper body only, you know.
It's kind of like what it is. Yeah, no, it's more or less what it is. Okay. As old wrestlers used to say, it's an upper body business, brother.
It's an upper body business. I haven't heard that one. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think either both Randy Savage and I think Road Warrior Hawk of the Legion of Doom used to say that.
That's funny.
Whenever someone say like, hey, you're missing leg day, or they didn't call it leg day back then, but you're missing legs or whatever, and a Hawk would go, it's an upper body business, brother.
Right. And then inject himself.
Hey, well, I mean, he's long since passed away. Oh, no. Everyone's dead. Sorry. Everyone's dead. I didn't know him. I mean, Jesus, what the hell are you gonna do? So yeah, I got to work on a diet to match the exercise, though.
Okay, that's good goal. I need to as well. But probably not eat 7-Eleven after comedy shows. Late
well, I'm still walking on my days off though, and that's still walking every day. At some point after this, we record this, I'll do my walk. Probably when this is uploading, because that takes 4 days anyway. And
well, I know I'm beating a dead horse here as far as it goes with but there's less pressure on the joints when you swim. If you ever feel like doing that, I think it's great. I love.
I really should. Yeah, I really should jump in the pool. That'll be
just awesome.
That'll be nice for me.
And it's some summertime, which leads to S, our social. S for social. Did you get much? I mean, we did last night. We got to see everybody at the store again, and wow, that was amazing.
The social's good. Would that be your big? I'm gonna let you go first on social.
I mean, I think for me, it was like seeing all these people at the holding company in OB the night before, and then seeing all these comics that we love last night. Just the combination of those two is really huge. I love that.
Doesn't everything feel better like when you do? Like that's how I feel too when I see like a little bit of the group. Like, oh, okay. Like there was this
camaraderie, like that. It didn't feel like there was any competition as much as I remember there being competition, but it didn't feel like it. It felt like everyone was just so happy to see each other. They were genuinely glad to watch each other set, and really just laughing a lot. I mean, my face was hurting from laughing so much at the end of the day. It was like everybody was so funny, and the crowd was just so stoked to be there. I think overall it was just a terrific feeling.
The crowd was absolutely tremendous. A lot of sexually attractive females that want to fornicate with privates, but they I'm single, I could say that. But actually doesn't really help anything. but that's cool though. We had people up front were like up front like the whole night, and they were the crowd was on our side. Like they wanted to be there.
And it wasn't preceded by an open mic. When we used to do the show, first of all, there was a third of that crowd usually.
Oh, okay.
And also, half of them had waited around through the whole open mic a lot.
Oh, that's atrocious. Yeah.
Some people you just came for best of, but there was plenty of people that were kind of like still hanging on from open mic because the thing didn't really end. It just sort of pauses and then goes right into best of. So I was pleased to hear from Mikey saying that he was going to do it a little differently this time. It felt like a real show.
I like how he's doing it now. I think it's a better system. If it's better for the audience, it's better for the club. If it's better for the audience in the club, ultimately it's better for us jokesters.
Agreed.
He's doing 100%. Good.
Social for you, Bob?
Yeah,
that's the big one.
Here's a fun one. I wanted to wait till I insisted on going last for this one. I almost got into a fist fight at Walmart.
That is not a good social.
What?
That would be antisocial.
That's not a good one?
Well, it might be. Let's hear about it.
You know what? I think you're right. It actually is a horrible example of what we're supposed to be doing here.
Was it with the greeter? What happened?
No. It was I wouldn't say it was almost a fist fight, but there was some words exchanged, and I got a little ready. I got a little
sort
ready.
of mask related incident?
No, that'd be hilarious. No, so I want to say it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I was in a fairly good mood, which I never am. So I was like, okay, this is good. And so the reason I say that, I want to preface, I actually wasn't in a bad, angry, I'm losing control type of mood. I was actually relatively neutral to jolly. I was like a 7 out of 10. Like I'm actually in a fairly good mood. But I don't know why. But in most Walmarts, you have, before you enter the Walmart, you have that area, that enclosure where it's just kind of enclosed by like glass windows, glass doors. It's the entrance before the entrance. Okay, like in San Diego, because it's warmer, like not every part of the country has this, but that's where we keep our potted plants and bullshit like that.
Yeah, it's almost like like the decompression before you go out into space. It's like
yes.
Extra chamber of glass. Yeah.
Yes, I enter the decompression section of Walmart.
It's like, now entering Walmart. Be prepared. And they spray gas on you.
Exactly. I enter that, and uncharacteristically, even though the parking lot is packed, there's no one in that section, which is odd because usually there's a person. Well, there was a person at a table clicking away for no reason, doesn't do anything, and because people are just running away. There's no way this 88-year-old lady is accurately going who's coming, who's going. It's preposterous. So oddly enough, I have it to myself, which it never happens. I didn't think much of it, and but another guy walks out, and he apparently must have just had an argument with the Walmart employees. He was about in his early to mid 50s. A little shorter than me, but stout, like a big, thick guy. He's got that body like he's perpetually hosting a barbecue, except he's not the happy barbecue griller like the guys we make fun of. Now he's like the guy, he's like yelling at his kids, and his dumb wife isn't helping, and you know what I mean? He's this son of a bitch. So he's all stout, and he's angry, and he's puffing, but he shouldn't be. He's got nothing to puff, right? He's puffing, and he's got his mask on too. I still put my mask on the gimmick in there just because everyone's just so gross. And he's coming out. He's coming out, and he's huffing and puffing, and he says, and he looks around, and he's saying it loud so they can hear, and he goes, "I'm so fucking sick of these people." But then he also looks at me like he's waiting for me to go, like I'm supposed to nod and agree, right? And 99 times out of 100, like I just came from 8 years in New York City. You precondition yourself to dart straight ahead, headphones in, eyes forward at any crazy people yelling anything. They don't exist. Right. You just go forward and don't walk too much faster, only a little faster, but not too. Don't make it obvious. And for some reason, when he says, "I'm so fucking sick of these people," for some reason I went, "They don't like you either."
Oh no!
And I turn, I looked, I want to see what he does, and he stops and he goes, well, I didn't see him because he was already around the corner. He goes, "Hey, kiss my ass," and I said, "Hey, old man, you want to?" And then I stopped in mid sentence.
Hey, old man. I can't believe you said that.
Yeah. I stopped.
Hey, man.
Once he said "kiss my ass," I went because when he said "kiss my ass," I was halfway between decompression and regular Walmart purchasing areas. So he says "kiss my ass," and I go. That's when I stopped. So I'm at the halfway mark, and I go, "Hey, old man, you want to?" And then I stopped after "you want to," and then I said, "Wait, what are you doing?"
What are you doing?
And he was gone. I never saw him like again. But as I'm shopping, I'm thinking a few thoughts. First of all, I'm thinking, I wonder if he's waiting, because I'm coming out with my flossies, my dental flossies that I like. I like to have one of those. I have very tight teeth, so and my chocolate chip muffins because my diet.
Neither one of those items make a decent weapon, really.
No, my muffins and flossers are terrible weapons. The flossers are sharp, but they're unsealed for sanitary reasons. And I
guess you could put the flossers between your hands like a dental Wolverine.
Well, who's got time to do that in the heat of battle?
Good point. I just eat one of the muffins and run out the back door.
Well, either way, I was just ready for this guy. But this is the first time where I've had like one of those little confrontations, and like I was so proud of myself. I'm trying to put any positive spin on this I can.
I like that you stopped yourself. Yeah.
I did because I was so proud of myself, not because I stopped myself. I wanted to see what he would do, but I was so proud of myself that I wasn't walking around steaming, like not even right away. Like it wasn't like I was mad for 5 minutes and then I cooled down. No, I was immediately in Walmart laughing my ass off. Like, this is hysterical. Like, I'm looking to see what new Transformers toys they have. And this guy, I guarantee you, this guy at this moment was still mad and probably mad for several hours afterwards.
Yeah.
Working on that heart attack, flipping his fucking sausages, is yelling about the situation to this dumb wife, but he tells
I feel
a story.
bad for the wife, honestly.
But you know, yeah, he came back, he all pissed off, and she probably shoved some more bacon in his face to collect on the life insurance or whatever the fuck. And I was so happy, and a part of me wanted him to be outside waiting. Not necessarily because he's not going to fight. Here's the thing. Here's the psychology for any dudes or people who don't understand the psychology. Almost no dudes actually start the fight when there's no audience. When it's just the two of you in that decompression chamber, like in an area or an alley or whatever the hell to yourselves, almost no one ever fights anybody. Do not fight the guy that still wants to fight you when it's just you in an empty parking lot.
Interesting. Yeah,
but when it's an audience,
fight when someone's there yelling "World Star."
Well, they're taping it because they could always break it up, and then they could call the cops, and then they could have a witness, and somebody, so they can have all their ducks in a row, so they can safely be an anti-hero, so they can safely be crazy. Crazy people don't break out. My dad taught me one thing when I was 9. He said, "Crazy people don't break out of asylums. Crazy people break in." And everyone who wants it too bad is someone you don't play with. Now, again, I'm not saying I'm the crazy one chasing after him. I didn't want him to be waiting. But I didn't think he was going to do. I was kind of curious. I'm like, I went out the exact same way, the same side. I kind of did a little bit. All right, he's gone. I mean, he's gone. But here's my issue with the guy, which made me laugh thinking about the guy later. I'm sorry, we are running a little long on Grace.
No, I just want to point out one quick thing.
Yes.
That my mother would have done the same thing as you.
Yeah.
She never holds her tongue in public. So like, if anyone's being a jerk publicly, she will just like call it out. And it's just like you saying that, they don't like you either. It just sounds like something my mom would do.
But and I surprised myself, like it fell out of my mouth. Like I didn't consciously decide to say that. I just went, it was like I just like involuntarily like sneezed or threw up words. I'm like, did I just do that? I just said that. I don't know why.
Old man. What the hell?
Yeah, old man. You want to? I'm like,
how old was he?
He could have no more than 55, but I'll say 52, 53. I don't know.
It's old man. You know that.
Well, no, here's what. Not because I don't think he's old. I know it's going to piss him off. That's why I said it, to piss him off. It's not like if he was 70, I'm not going to bother.
Right.
But to piss him off, because that's going to make him. Because we're both having because he doesn't know how old I am, so he's going to. If anything's going to make him charge, that's going to make him charge. But he kept going. He didn't want any about. But here's the thing: when you walk out of Walmart, and you say, "So sick of these fucking people," there's a couple of things going on here. You're sick of them, meaning this happens a lot. What is happening with you and your Walmart visits, where there's a regular personal disagreement, and it always has to end in vulgarity?
Right.
That's got to be your fault. What do you think? Is Walmart supposed to cater to you? Where do you think you're going when you go to Walmart? Your local mom and pop Walmart, you fucking idiot?
Yeah, it's so funny to me. Like the people that have such a bad attitude that, when they go out, everybody else is the asshole. But they say, if you go out and everybody's the asshole, it's you.
You're the asshole. Yes.
You're the asshole.
Yes. If all you do is tweet about, every bad ex-boyfriend and girlfriend, then guess what?
Yeah.
You're the lunatic. So if you go around and every waiter is magically an asshole, every door guy is magically an asshole, every movie usher is an asshole, the sexy guy washing your car is an asshole.
Well, I got to say, I'm very impressed that your social this week is not beating up somebody at Walmart. It's really progress is being made here.
Yeah, I like to think so, because I feel bad because whoever he just yelled at, I guarantee you, it's like a tiny old woman who barely speaks English, and she's following the bullshit policy of a terrible $1 trillion corporation that has full-time employees on food stamps, those pieces of shit. Like, whoever he's yelling at did not deserve it.
Of course not.
And that's really why I'm mad. It's not like he stormed out of Goldman Sachs and went, I fucking hate those guys. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Why am I going in, for starters? But you know what I mean? It's not like he walked out of Microsoft or Apple and he went, those fucking greedy pieces of shit. I'm like, okay, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
I walked out of Walmart and you didn't yell at Walmart, you yelled at their employees. Yeah. Which you know, so I was that kind of, it boils my blood a little bit, and maybe that's why I just slipped up. I just wasn't focusing on my own mood. I was just kind of casually strolling in, and he says a thing, and I'll just say a thing, and he said, "I'll say another thing. Let's see what you want to do." And then I'm like, "Oh, all right, easy, don't do." But man,
well, it's a good S.
Good S. I didn't fight at Walmart,
but it's still good, and you didn't fight, so. I like that, Bob. That's a pretty good grapes this week.
Good grapes.
Before we get any further, I think we got to take a break and pay
Let's take a break
here.
Let's take a break.
So let's do a word from a sponsor.
Are you a goose? Are you a swan, sir? Now here's a word from a sponsor.
Hey, Bob, we got a new one this week. It is called Xylanoxynexyl Flows. This is new from the makers of Oxytocin. It's the revolutionary medication to treat your mild to moderate intermittent scalp itch. Xylanoxynexyl Flows. If you're scratching your head, wondering which anti-itch is the best for your itch no longer. The answer is Xylanoxynexyl Flows. Do not take Xylanoxynexyl Flows if you are currently breastfeeding, operating heavy machinery, or are allergic to shellfish or just don't want to. Side effects include blurred vision, dizziness, shellfish allergies, hangriness, shortness of breath, cold flashes, wheezy Jefferson syndrome, implosive diarrhea, bad puns, shooting pain in your wallet, the croup, thumb numbness, death, rebirth, death again, hair loss, hair gain, expanding nipples, Shia LaBeouf, square dancing, wearing Crocs, obscene yodeling, showing people how to Dougie, full-blown cooties, dubstep, and too much booty in your pants. Also, itchy scalp. Ask your doctor about Xylanoxynexyl Flows and treat your itchy scalp today.
Oh,
thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Jesse, for letting us know, and we appreciate We appreciate them for helping us out. And helping us out our itchy scalp. This would not be a good time to mention that you can also enjoy an ice cold diet Dr. Pepper. Tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper. Go to coca-cola.com/Dr. Pepper, type in the promo code Beachtown. Absolutely nothing happens. And if Diet Dr. Pepper wants to get jealous, don't forget about Pepsi Blue. Ooh. Pepsi Blue. I got this at the Walmart where I almost fought that guy. And you can enjoy the nice berry taste, the very refreshing taste of Pepsi Blue. Go to Pepsi.com, enter the promo code Beachtown. Once again, absolutely nothing ever happens. None of us are sponsored by any of these people. They would prefer we stop.
Not yet, but we are crossing our fingers that we're going to get some of these free products, some free sodies, and some delicious free pills. So maybe one of these days. And that is a word from a sponsor, Bob.
Hey. You think it's that time?
Popcorn and previews, movies and reviews at the theater.
I think it might be that time. This is my favorite part of the podcast. I'm very excited. I cannot wait because to be honest with you, I may have seen this movie, but I don't know that I've seen it in its entirety. If I have seen it, it's been so many years that I really don't remember it. So I'm thrilled. Lay it on us, Bob. What do you got this week?
Okay, and just a reminder, they're all spoiled. Even before the final script, these things were spoiled.
Yeah, before anyone watched the movie.
Everything's being spoiled. We are talking about the 1989 summer classic. No, I'm kidding. Weekend at Bernie's. We're talking about Weekend at Bernie's. It's a tale of morality. It's a tale of compassion. It's a tale of coming face to face with one's own mortality and the different ways in which mankind copes, and how to make the most of the years you have. And there's life lessons learned. We are talking about Weekend at Bernie's.
It's a serious drama.
I felt that way. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Good, because I'm not ready, and I'm going to go anyway. Because you know why, Jesse? Because that's how fast life moves at you. You're not ready. You turn around, bam, right there in the nose. You never know. Someone's yelling at Walmart. They punch you right in the face. You don't know what's going to happen. And Weekend at Bernie's is just exactly the same way. We start off in New York City. It's the summer, and these two guys, Rich and Larry, they're in their early to mid 20s. One of them's kind of a dorky guy and clumsy, but responsible, but not really that responsible. And his friend Larry is not responsible at all. And they're just talking about how awful New York City is. So right away, I love this movie. And it's gross, and it's the summer in New York, and it's hot. It's just so humid and disgusting. And everywhere in 3 minutes, you walk outside after a shower, you're covered in your own sweat in August, and they're just hating life. And they got to work on a Sunday, and they don't tell us for 45 minutes what the company actually does, but eventually it's insurance. And they have to find a $2 million error, which was a lot of money at the time. And now their boss is making them work, and they have computer printouts because it's 1989, man. And they got all the paper with the little holes in the side. And Larry decides, hey, let's not work in his office because the owners turn the air conditioner off on the weekends to save money because there's no labor laws. So they go up to this hot, disgusting New York roof where there's even less shade and it's hotter. That is a horrible idea. These guys are idiots. But for some reason, they had a tiny kiddie pool and they filled it with water, and there's tar melting onto their shoes. And Larry's not doing a goddamn lick of work. He just wants to find babes, man. He just wants babes in bikinis with ample bosoms and shapely buttocks that he could fornicate with his genitals. And Rich, he's responsible. He's looking through the pieces of paper, and he goes, holy dick, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, holy dick, I found the error. Look at this. There's a life insurance policy taken out by someone who's already died. That's the extra $2 million. What in the bluest of blue fucks is going on? What in the bluest of Pepsi blues is going on? I don't know where I put it. So I threw it across the room. So yeah, so they get all excited because the boss is going to love them now. He's going to be they're going to be his favorite, right? Mr. Lomax, Bernie Lomax. He's Bernie in the title. You understand? Okay. So they go in, but Rich, now wait a minute, there's a love plot, right? Because he sees this young lady who's a college intern who you're not supposed to be hitting on or asking out anymore, but at the time you were supposed to, right? So he wants to talk to her and ask her out, and Larry keeps egging him on and trying to embarrass him in front of the girl to help him ask her out. And finally, he goes up to the girl, and I'm not kidding, he really says, he goes, hi, and she goes, hi, and he goes, my aunt is sick. And she's like, what? And he goes, and then he walks away. He didn't know what to say, so he said that, which made no sense. And then he tells Larry, guy, I can't, ask her out. Where am I going to take her? I still live with my parents. And Larry's like, you can use my apartment. And Rich says, your apartment is dark and cheap and there's cockroaches or something. And then Larry says, okay. Anyway, he asks the girl out and she says yes for some reason. And then they go to Bernie Lomax's office. And this is where you find out the sinister person that Bernie really was. Because he looks sympathetic on the poster of the film behind you, but not so much in the remainder of the film here. So Bernie says, excuse me. And he goes in and you hear him snorting, and it implies that he just did a line of cocaine, which is an illegal drug. And he's doing all the lines of cocaine. He says, okay, gentlemen, tell me the problem. And they don't even know this because they're idiots. They didn't notice. So they tell him about the error, and they both try to take credit for it, even though Rich does all the work and Larry's a terrible friend. He's just trying to take credit for it and not do any work. So finally, Bernie says, oh, you're right. You did find an error. You're going to save the company. You just saved us from losing, and out of nowhere, $2 million. You know what, boys? I like you guys so much. What are you doing this weekend? Never mind. It's Labor Day weekend. You're coming to my place in the Hamptons, which is Hamptons is like a rich New York kind of off the side, Long Islandish island where a bunch of rich assholes go to pretend that any part of New York is still nice. But they go there because Florida is like a plane ride, and no one wants to be bothered with that. So they go there, so he invites them, but before he gets the guys over at the weekend at his house, Bernie's, that's where he is. Bernie meets with these mobsters in an Italian restaurant, and they're all the traditional like 70s Italian mobsters. They're all the caricatures, and Bernie says out loud, "I need you to kill these two guys." And which you don't say out loud we've all seen The Godfather and Goodfellas and Donnie Brasco and all that crap. You don't say that out loud. and the main boss guy, whatever his name is, Vinny, Vito, whatever the fuck, he's eating his thing, and he's like, we don't do that anymore. We're all tied up in stocks now. And then Paulie, because the guy's name is Paulie, but Paulie, why don't you help him out? So Bernie says, okay, great, because Bernie's the one stealing the money. He's the piece of shit stealing from his own company. He wants to kill the two guys. So Bernie goes out to the restaurant, but the whole time the mobster's girlfriend has her foot and she's putting it on Bernie's wiener under the restaurant table. She's putting it on the wiener, right? And Bernie's like, ooh, and like the mob boss can't figure out his girlfriend has his foot on the wiener of the insurance thief. So when the girlfriend goes out and follows Bernie outside to the sidewalk, the mobster says to Paul, he goes, because he can't say fuck, so he's like, that guy's screwing my girlfriend. Don't kill those two guys. I want you to go to the Hamptons and you take care of Bernie and you take care of Lomax. You take care of Lomax instead. Okay, boss. So they're really going to kill Bernie, who is dead in the poster. So that's not much of a spoiler. And there's Rich and Larry. So Rich and Larry go there. Rich takes the girl on a date, but Rich lies to the girl and says he has his own apartment, but it's actually his parents' place. And his dad shows up shirtless in his boxers and embarrasses him. And she's mad that he lied about living with the parents because he just told her that his parents were dead for no reason. And then his dad shows up in his boxer shorts and Rich is caught lying. So the nerdy, sympathetic guy who does all the work now is no longer a sympathetic character either. There's no good people in the film. So the two nerds, they go over to the weekends and they find, oh my God, Bernie's dead. Because Paulie put a needle in his ass or something like that. He injected him with something and Bernie's on a couch and they don't know what to do. So they're picking him up and they're panicking and Rich wants to call the police because it's a dead person. And Larry says, no, he has a house and there's babes with the ample bosoms and the shapely buttocks. And we want to fondle their privates with our hands in a non-platonic type of way. So they end up having a wild party and no one knows Bernie's dead. And all these kiss asses, these sycophants, these bottom feeders, these bottom feeding sleazy executive or record executive and car salesman and these gold digging Jezebels, every single one of them, they just talking to Bernie and they're just making Bernie nod and they don't even notice Bernie's not responding because he's not alive. No one cares. And then they parade Bernie around and then who's at the Hamptons? But the girl that Rich lied to, she happens to be there too for no goddamn reason. It's like Star Wars. There's a million planets and we all happen to live on this one if we matter to the story. So it's another problem with Star Wars. Anyway, so the girl is there and she's like, Rich, you were kind of a jerk. And Rich is like, I'm sorry, but Bernie Lomax is dead. And she's like, that's stupid. I saw you walking with him like a second ago. But you don't understand. And you can understand her confusion, right? But then Paulie, the guy who killed Bernie, sees Bernie walking around because he's being propped up. And now he's losing his mind because he just has to keep killing this guy over and over. So at one time, Bernie falls over the porch deck on top of Paulie and they struggle, but Paulie doesn't know Bernie's not struggling. So he grabs Bernie down. He's choking the day-old dead Bernie, which looks the same. And then he's choking him and he's strangling him. And finally, he's like, yeah, I killed him. And a day later, he sees Bernie in a boat, and they got and Larry, who's irresponsible, he has a string, and it's in the trailer, and he's propelling Bernie's hand, and he's making now 36-hour dead Bernie just wave at Paulie, and Paulie's losing his shit. And then Rich and the rich girl go up in a light tower for some reason, like it's Maine or some shit, and she's forgiving him because he's apologizing, even though he's lying about dead parents, and they're making out on a beach, and he looks at the lighthouse and the light, and he accidentally goes blind for like a second, but then he's fine. And then finally, Larry, the irresponsible one, just shows her the dead body. But then who shows up? The girlfriend of the mobster shows up. And you know what she does? I'll just tell you. She has sexual intercourse with the dead Bernie. And yeah, she does. Clerks rip this off. Fuck you, Kevin Smith, and fuck you for making a woke He-Man and lying to us, you piece of shit. It's not Tila and the Masters of the Universe, you cock. Anyway, that's another story. So Kevin, she fucks the dead Bernie, right? And this is 1989.
Really?
Yeah, in the PG movie, or 13, I think it's PG-13. She fucks the dead Bernie.
How?
They didn't get into that much detail.
Okay.
And Rich and Larry were in the living room, so they weren't there to report the situation either. But anyway, she fucks the dead Bernie, and they decide we got to get away because they figure out that killers are after them because they find Bernie's answering machine because Bernie was so stupid he accidentally recorded a phone call on an answering machine cassette tape, and they find out, oh, Bernie wanted us dead, but someone killed Bernie, so maybe they're gonna kill us too. So they take Bernie and they go on Bernie's little motorboat, but neither of them know how to drive a boat, so they get in several boating accidents and almost kill several other people. But then finally, the boat runs out of gas because they're dumb, and they float on Bernie's now 48-hour ocean-soaked dead body back to the island. They float back to the island on the corpse, okay? The corpse. And they're still propping him up. And then finally, they talk to some police, I guess. Oh, wait, this kid buries the corpse in the sand, but they need the corpse because they found out that the killer won't kill the two guys. He was instructed not to kill the two guys unless Bernie's with them. So they have to keep the corpse with them at all times now. So the kid, this 9-year-old kid, buries the corpse in the sand, and they yell at the kid, and they dig up, and they have to dust off Bernie. They vacuum him, and Bernie's toupee comes off because now's a good time for some physical comedy. Right? So they pull him up, and finally, I guess they tell the police because they had their 3-day fun weekend of hot babes and everything else, and Rich gets to have relations with the girl that keeps lying to that he's not supposed to hit on because she's working with him, and Larry has sex with some random person, of course, and neither of the two guys learned anything, and they got away with it. It didn't even have to be detained by the police until the three of them, the rich girl and Rich and Larry, are just sitting at the beach saying, well, we're glad that's over and everyone's okay. And of course, what happens? The ambulance door accidentally opens and Bernie, the dead body, tumbles out, and he tumbles on the beach. He tumbles on a beach next to them, and they both turn, the three of them all turn and go, bah! And then the kid from before who was burying Bernie in the sand, he buries Bernie in the sand again, and the movie ends, and the 56-hour, whatever, 60-hour dead corpse is just buried in the sand, and we don't know about Bernie's family or friends or loved one, or no one's inquired about their loss. And the two main characters, not only was one of them good and one shitty, one of the good one just became shitty, and they got rewarded with sexual activity for being really terrible to the corpse and the family, and that was Weekend at Bernie's.
Wow, what a great summary. I really appreciate that synopsis, Bob. Now, if you could possibly give us just in maybe one quick sentence, what is your overall review of the movie Weekend at Bernie's?
Arguably, and I don't throw this around willy-nilly.
Never.
Arguably the greatest film ever made.
Wow. Incredible review. Thank you so much for that, Bob. I feel like I got to watch it again, and I am sure that I haven't seen it now from hearing that synopsis.
Unfortunately, I also feel like I just watched it again.
That was great, man. I kind of want to watch it now.
It's very funny. Like I laughed out loud several times.
Yeah.
The physical gags and the dead guy jokes and the two actors, whoever there's no famous actors in this at all. And if there are, there's not now. Like there's no famous actors. I thought the two guys, Rich and Larry, were forced to physically sprint around and sweat for almost the entire movie. And it was so entertaining watching these buffoons crash into each other. And I just know, because you know how many things take in movies. You were just Julian. You know how many takes.
My name is Julian.
So I was very impressed. It was hilarious, and that's why I go out on a limb. And again, I don't want to just say this,
no, not arbitrary with your reviews. I know,
but arguably the greatest film ever made. Yes, arguably the greatest.
Wow. You know, the thing I never understood about this is that they had a freaking sequel. You know, like how did they dig him up again? I mean,
well,
did they preserve him somehow? Is he a mummy in the second one? Or?
I'm glad you asked. I was going to leave that alone, but you brought it up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Hulu for $7.99 a month, limited commercial interruption, featuring all your favorite television shows and movies plus original programming. Hulu is TV in the palm of your hands. Hey, it's been a long one, folks. Let me have it. They carry Weekend at Bernie's for free if you already have Hulu, and you have Hulu because you have my password.
I have your Hulu. Yeah.
You can really just go to the Just Watch section and watch Weekend at Bernie's without any searching.
What about the sequel though?
That's the problem. The sequel is not on Hulu.
Damn it, Hulu.
and HBO Max does not have it. Who knew? NBC Peacock won't admit that it's ever been made.
They're the smart ones.
Yeah. I don't know about Netflix. Actually, I don't have a Netflix at the moment.
So
but,
it's a matter of the movie's just not good enough for anyone to carry it.
I don't think so. I bet you on Amazon Prime you could probably rent it for $3, no more than $4, and I'm gonna have to. I don't know. Let us know in the comment section. Do you want me to watch Weekend at Bernie's 2? And if I do, let me just say this too. If you want me to, I'm not going to do 2 Weekend at Bernie's movie reviews in a row. I'll wait a little bit.
Okay, good.
But if you want me to watch Weekend at Bernie's 2,
yeah, because I won't spend $4 to see that, but Bob might. And if you comment on there, and I'm actually curious now, like, at what level of decomposition is Bernie in the second one? You know,
what about this? Because Hollywood loves rebooting, and what's the other word for reboot? It's not always a reboot, but it's a
prequel or remake.
Yeah. How about this? We redo Weekend at Bernie's in modern times, but it's the same Bernie from 1989. Like, it's the same universe.
I like that.
Like, we don't have a new dead Bernie Lomax.
Can he just be a skeleton then at this point?
Yeah.
How do they pull that one off, I wonder?
I don't know. It depends what their goal is. I don't know what their goals were in Weekend at Bernie's 2. Apparently, the Weekend is still a part of it. Like apparently,
they could get that artist, The Weekend, to be in the Weekend at Bernie's part.
I don't know.
How many parts are there?
There's just 2.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we need a third one. We need to complete the trilogy.
We also needed a third grumpy old man. Like, we needed a grumpiest old man, and we never got one.
We never got a grumpiest.
We got grumpy, grumpier, and I guess dead. Like, I don't know where they
grumpy, grumpier, done.
They would have gone. If we could combine the universes and have a dead Walter Matthau and the other guy, I don't fucking know. It's been too long. If we can have somehow combine the universe and someone could have those 3 guys dead plus dead Bernie Lomax. And this poor actor got his ass kicked. I know there's stuntmen and dummies they used and everything else, but they still had to have the guy because they slap him around to wake him up, and they got to shake him, and he can't like react, and you can't even breathe. You got to like hold your breath for a few seconds because you can't have his stomach going up and down because that looks fake. So that's why they never show a dead actor acting dead for that long, because eventually they have to breathe and you're going to see their stomach go up and down. So at some point, I thought about this way too much.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a tough role. I'd love to see the documentary on the making of it, where he's like, it was hell. They killed me over and over.
Oh, there's got to be like an anniversary or master DVD or something that I can get to be like just the audio commentary of this is everything we wanted to achieve. We wanted everyone to be a worse person and less of them alive by the end of the film.
Seems like in the 80s they didn't have a lot of clear like good guys. A lot of the good guys were kind of anti-heroes or douchebags.
Remember, and because you like Batman, like, and the same summer is the reason I bring up was Batman '89 because these 2 were competing. I love that shit. Like, I love what was competing with major blockbusters because I always thought in my head, I thought Weekend at Bernie's was earlier, like 87-ish, like, because I think I watched it a few times as a kid and just thought it was hilarious. I think it was one of those few things we could all watch as a family and just go, this is hysterical. And yeah, so I thought it was earlier for some reason. I was surprised to find out it was that late, that it was the summer of '89 that competed with. But what I was saying was that Batman '89, because like you say, because Batman, like you're a Batman comic guy, so like Batman doesn't kill, right?
Right.
And Batman shows up in '89, bad guy, throw him off the church.
Yeah. Yeah, they
like before the Joker, even before he puts his leg around the dude's head, smashes him against the bell. And then a dude takes a tumble. That guy had to have died.
Yeah, for sure.
So, because he fell just as far as the Joker did. So, yeah, Batman totally was killing. At least that one other guy. I guess he killed 2 guys. It's not as bad. But
maybe he should have walked around with the Joker's dead body for the rest of the movie afterwards, and then done a sequel where he's like, "Talk, Joker."
Weekend at Jokers. Yeah.
Weekend at Jokers.
Yeah, they don't make that movie, of course.
No, damn it. Wow, well, that was a great review, Bob, and a great episode of Beachtown Podcast.
Right,
we want to thank all of our viewers here on YouTube for checking us out. If you'd like to follow us on the social medias, you can follow me at Jesse Egan Comedy on all social media. Please check out my special on Dry Bar Comedy. and my other podcast, which is called Awful Neutral, which is a Dungeons and Dragons comedy podcast. And where can people find you, Bob?
Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid to tell at this point. There's one guy looking for me in a Walmart parking lot. They can find me at Bob Hansen Jokes on Twitter, of course, and the same as Instagram. For all you G.I. Joe nuts who like to, if you like my episodes, watch those. The Sun Bob Productions, that's on my YouTube channel, and there's links and everything else for both of our listeners. You all watch the same stuff, but you want to follow us on Twitter, most importantly at Beachtown Comedy, so you don't miss an episode or a clip or whatever special thing we may do or whatever we may dream up. So, and for any updates coming up, we are closer than ever to having actual audio versions, so it's actually a podcast.
Yes.
I think I have a lead. I have a little something that I'm sinking my teeth into, so I may be able to actually get this done. So follow us at Beachtown Comedy on Twitter, so to keep updated on that. Do that, and everything else will follow. And my aunt is sick.
Keep on trucking, everybody. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. And then we freeze.